Welcome, everyone, to the Marvel of Horror podcast, where we talk all things past, present, and future as they pertain to the horror genre. I'm your host, friend, fellow horror enthusiast, Bruce Marvel, and on this episode, Maren, Lavelle, and Matt Steiner from the horror indie production company One Eyed Rabbit are stopping back by to talk about their psychological thriller, Clifton Park, that just recently made the rounds at Screamfest. The full-length trailer for Clifton Park will be at the end of this episode, so please, I suggest you check it out. Like, subscribe, show your support on social media, follow us at the Marvel of Horror podcast on YouTube, and let's get into this. So I met you already. Like I met you before.
Right.
So knowing that I know you and then watching the performance in it,
a little different.
It made it more impactful to see you like turn on the Sinister switch. Because it does have. It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Clifton Park. So yeah, we were talking about the making. It's done.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to enter Screamfest.
Yeah, so we have our world premiere in October at Screamfest LA, which we're so pumped about. Yeah.
So how do you feel about it now that it's done?
I'm really proud. I mean, it was a labor of love and a journey for sure. But I think on this film, what was really exciting for me is the final vision. The final film really matched the original vision. Like, I look back on some of my visual references, like a film called Swallow that we watched recently.
Okay.
And I was like, yes, our film looks like that, and this was my reference, you know. So it was exciting to feel like visually the elements came together as I was planning. So yeah.
I would similarly say, really, I'm really proud of the work that you did, that we did, that the entire team did. And I'm super stoked for folks to see it, precisely because of the reflection you just gave back, right? Because we have an idea of what we think it is as we're writing it. Then we have a different idea of what we think it is as we're making it. And now it's there. And I don't know, I think there's something about art, and I may have said this the last time we're on, kind of feel like art happens in between the maker and the audience. So it's like,
Absolutely.
Now it's like out there, and so you have as much ownership as a viewer as we do
Cool.
as makers,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
so I like learning about the film that we created.
Yeah.
I like when someone can tell me something about the character or the story or even a question that I'm like, well, I've literally never thought about that, and we wrote it.
Yeah.
And like I said, visually it's great. Like I love the camera work. I love how it's shot. I love like the things you guys put in, like the one. I think it's like the Twister game going into like the record.
Yes, that was so
That's
sharp.
really cool. That's like so cool. That's like that was like there's a lot of like really cool shots and stuff in this movie as far as it's like done and directed. And it made me really think. And I even brought the book out. It's got the like the Stanford like prison experiment element to it. And I was going to ask you both, like, was that any kind of like your thought process like making it too?
I don't know that was like kind of at the forefront. I mean, that's always kind of in the back of our brains, especially because as we're making this shift into the horror lane, right? Because our previous few short films weren't in the horror genre, and we kind of call it our film school. It's kind of how we learned, because neither of us went to film school. It's kind of how we learned to do what we do, and now Clifton Park feels like our debut film, really, is this One Eyed Rabbit. And we're kind of using this phrase that we make movies about real life monsters.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think the Stanford Prison Experiment is always kind of in the back of my head, because I'm always interested in the monstrous nature of humans and like what we're capable of, especially when we think we're doing good.
Yes.
Or we're making art, or we're changing the world, or we're doing something really important, and where we feel like the ends justify the means.
Like every great bad guy thinks they're on the side of good.
Yeah,
you know? Like a judgment by somebody, because they don't really think they are evil. They think what they're doing is justified in what they're doing, which makes it so terrifying.
Yeah.
Like Thanos is like, I'm
Very
gonna
great.
wipe out half of the population because like we can't support this life. So actually, I'm doing something for the better of the world and humanity.
Exactly. Yeah.
We were really interested in comparing cult or coercive communities with the theater community or theater school, like environments that we kind of grew up and came up in and revered. And I remember as a younger actor always being like, commitment.
Yeah.
Was right. It was like, if nothing else, like
Yeah.
your job is to commit. And then the question becomes like, what happens when a bunch of vulnerable youngsters get taught that ethos, and then someone comes in with less than good intentions?
I would even say that's there's probably a lot of like high school, college athletes that could fit in, like, and like the thing with this movie, and like kind of going back to like the Stanford experiment, like what's so scary about this movie is it's not just like definitely commitment, it's also compliance.
Like, say more.
Like human beings in situations, like you always hear about a situation later, and you're like, oh my god, like, not me. Oh my god, yeah. The minute that happened, I would have been fucking out of there.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. It's like that. Not really.
Because there's a series of microaggressions that kind of break a otherwise strong, capable, independent person down to the point where they're just starting to question themselves. So the first time there's a coercive, move, they're already kind of questioning themselves, and then they kind of fold with that coercion, and now they're even deeper into it because they're losing a sense of self, and you just keep cutting them down until full compliance. Yeah,
That's what I mean. Yeah, and their level of like, okay, I'll continue to comply with this, even though it's like, and their brain's probably screaming like, no. Like what? Like the experiment, it's like, the whole thing with like, okay, well, you're gonna act like prisoners, we're gonna act like guards, and how quick everybody complied in the roles they were given.
Well, because I think we assume that there's some authority figure that's gonna say, okay, we've gone far enough.
Yeah.
There's this thing, especially when we're role playing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We assume, whether it's a teacher or a director or something, that there's someone's going to be the voice of moral authority that says, okay, we've gone too far. But like, what happens when there's not that voice, or the authority is actually saying the opposite? It's saying like, no, you can go a little farther.
When there's no ref that's going to break up the fight.
Right. Yeah.
But like, wait, hold on.
The thing about compliance makes me think, to me, it's a 3-person movie, but to me the most interesting character is Claire, who's played by Haley Griffith, who's kind of the in-between. Because I find, as we were working on it, we're making a lot of reflections to our own life, because we met running a theater company together in New York City, and I felt like at different points in my life, I've been all of those roles. I've been survivor, victim, I've been witness, enabler, and uncomfortably perpetrator in moments, and we really kind of had to dig into those uncomfortable memories and experiences creating this, but I feel like I more often find myself I have found myself in life in that middle role. In that role of, well, I'm not the one doing the bad thing, but I'm kind of uncomfortable that this person is doing it. But when do I say, stop?
Yeah.
Like, when do I say, I'm not going to do this anymore? And I have a lot of empathy for folks, because I don't know, when is the moment in the movie, if you were the main character or you were Claire, when would you have said stop? Like,
I mean, it's like I said, it's so tough to say, because not every, it's like I guess the takeaway is that you don't know what people are going through when they're like in that moment. It's like I said, it's easy to be on the outside being like, not everybody, because we kind of talked about this when you both were here before, it's like, not everybody who joins a cult thinks like are dumb, or just like a weak and just gullible person, but yet they go along with it. They get sucked in somehow. I mean, it's just like me. It's like I'd like to think like at the Twister game, I would have been like, I think
it's a little weird.
You're like, can I get my phone back?
Yeah. The connection of the cult coercive community and theater school really relates to me. Mari is a version of me as intended in the writing. And at 18, 19, you're really susceptible to authority. And I would say specifically, in my experience as a woman, male authority. And so I felt really susceptible to the ethos of theater school, of, you're gonna go as extreme as you can to prove how talented you are. And that was a thread for 4 years, and how we all measured ourselves against each other. So I really relate to that, journey of watching this theater company do things that are like, is that questionable? And then you're like, no, but it's art, but it's commitment, but they're more talented because they're willing to go there.
Well, because there's the other side of this, whether we're talking about theater school or a cult or whatever, is like the part that we forget is there's a lot of love bombing and building up, and in the film there's a lot of like Mari is the main character, and the two of them saying to Mari like, wow, you're really special. There's a lot of potential in you if you would just go a little bit farther. And so there's that like carrot, right, you're going after. I feel like we all have that in life. Even you're a company man, you're working in an office and you're like, okay, so I just push even further and further, right?
You literally pulled that out of my brain, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, Mom, my God, it happens in the workplace like all the time.
Yeah.
It happens in the workplace. Like, hey man, there's a reason we chose you.
Yes,
right.
It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna give me that raise. Well,
yeah, put in a few more hours.
Yeah,
get a few more projects done.
How about working Saturdays, and then we'll talk.
And life is so hard. We work so much, and I feel like in general, we're all kind of underappreciated. That the moment the spotlight gets turned on you, and someone makes you feel like, hey, you kind of stand out, and I have the key to get you to the higher level.
Well, I mean, going back to what Maren was just talking about, like going back and watching that whole scene unfold, and it's like, okay, that's like it's a cult moment, but it's like it's getting some heavy like Harvey Weinstein
vibes
too.
Yes.
Totally.
It's like, because it's like, yeah, well, there's thousands of actresses.
Yes.
How are you gonna stand out?
Right.
What are you gonna do different than them? And it's like, but it's so true too, in a way, because like it said, like I can only imagine being an actor or being an actress, and it's like, okay, well, here's this big movie, and it's like, yeah, I'm ready to go, and you walk in, and there's literally hundreds of people. You're like, oh shit, like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, it's almost like a lottery at that point. I can see it just being so.
Well, it's a lottery, and then when you get picked to even audition, or as Mari in the story, she gets picked to come up to upstate New York for the weekend. You feel like, I don't want to fuck this up. This is my chance.
Or even, you get cast. Like, I feel like it's a recent thing that actors are coming out and advocating for themselves, being like, I need an intimacy coordinator, or I'm not doing that stunt, or I'm not working, over 10 hours.
Right.
And so we've had all these generations of performers and many people in the film industry being privy to, the whoever's in charge of the money saying, no, work harder, go harder, or else we could replace you tomorrow. And it's recent that people are starting to actually advocate for themselves and be like, no, I have boundaries. I'm a professional.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a success for us when folks see themselves in the film. Whether it's in any of the characters or all of them, or even you just saying, oh, that reminds me of being in an office job. That to me is like the success of the film, because I feel like when we talk about cults in general, very often they're easy to other. Like you said, oh, those dumb people doing that. Whereas we always joke, I'm like, I would have joined that cult so quick. I would have been so susceptible to that. And I think it would be less valuable as filmmakers for us to come to this film as like, let's make a film about these stupid people who joined a cult. Because more valuable to be like, oh, I probably would join a cult, and this is the cult that I would join.
Yeah.
We recently watched the Synanon Fix,
Ooh,
which is another cult documentary on HBO about a group, Synanon, that was a group of addicts helping each other. Like, AA existed at the time. What is this, the 70s, late 60s, early 70s?
It seems like it was a precursor to like Narcotics Anonymous.
And they would get together and do these sort of intellectual, aggressive meetings where they would like call each other out on their shit.
It was called The Game. It was Synanon's Game. They would sit in a circle, and it would be like, yeah, Bruce, I really didn't like the way you talked to my wife right there, and I want to talk about this right now. I want to talk about your insecurities. And they would just like go at people.
And then they built a whole community where they were like raising the children with this ethos and this game. The children would play it.
But also a really important part is it worked.
Right.
People would quit using. So then
for the first time and the only time in their lives.
It would justify this really extreme method and behavior, because you're like, well, nothing else got me off of heroin or whatever, and this did.
So you're like, this is a positive thing, this works. And then the person at the top, as it starts to make more money, starts to consolidate power, and then he's also an addict who's trying to deal with running this whole enterprise, and then he's fallen off the wagon. So yeah, it's just it starts innocently or even positively.
Or yeah, you were obviously referencing Nexium, but also Rajneeshpuram in Wild Wild Country.
Another thing I haven't heard of.
Oh
I find
gosh,
this stuff is so fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrible stuff, but it's
Right.
so fascinating.
Well, yeah, they were in the Northwest in I think the early '80s. There was a group that were worshiping a guy from India.
Yeah.
The one from India, and came over and they created this community that ended up expanding so much. But similar to Nexium and all these other cults, at first you're like, well, this seems like
They seem to
a
have-
fun, progressive, hippie-ish group that I probably would be a part of. Oh, interesting, they're poisoning salad bars. Oh, interesting, they're shipping in hundreds of homeless people so that they have votes in the community. That's smart.
Wait,
and weird.
okay,
Yeah.
I did read about this group.
So
And,
slow, it really is like, what is the point? But you would be like, okay, no, especially when everybody around you is like, this is awesome. You're like, I don't want to be the one.
And in all of these groups that have existed anywhere from the 60s to now and are still existing, there's a new documentary every time, the charismatic leader, usually a man, not always, is soliciting sexual relations with the women in the group.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme.
It's a bit of an MO.
Which is something we were touching on in Clifton Park, I think, is like, what is the goal here? Is his goal to sleep with her? For that power, for that, oh, we did it. It was so real. It was so intense. That's exactly how it would have happened if it was Nexium or Synanon or Rajneeshpuram. How far would he have gone in that moment to feel wanted, needed, in power?
I think that, yeah, power and control. I
Yeah.
think that's like, even like all that stuff, that's all to me what it really boils down to in those groups. It's like, that's the last thing I can take.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
I got it. Now I got everything. It's like, it's just really disgusting and crazy.
Well, that question too of like when would you say enough is reminding me of you referenced a movie last time we were here that we had not seen. That we
Ooh.
have since seen, The Invitation.
Oh!
That we have since seen and thought of you as we were watching
Yes.
it. And brilliant, Karen Kusama. Oh my gosh, we loved it.
Oh
we
my
totally
God.
saw why you referenced it.
Yes.
Because similarly,
I was so excited.
I'm asking myself as I'm watching it, like, what's going on? What's the game? Who's in on it?
Yeah.
And then, the ex multiple times tries to call it off, and people are like, "What is wrong with you? You are acting like a
Relax.
crazy
Yeah.
person."
Well, yeah, his whole thing too, and like the film's done so well. To me, at least the first time I saw it, I was like, there was this brief moment where I'm like, maybe he is
Yes.
overreacting.
Yes.
Like he does they do such a good job of kind of turning you against that
Yeah,
guy.
you think he's gonna be the one who turns on everyone and.
But the twist is like, no, he was right
No,
the
you're
entire
right.
time.
Yep, go with your gut.
And I'm watching that movie, and I think the first time, again, we always, on the outside, it's easy to be like, nah. Right there, I would have been,
Right.
whew,
Yeah.
wouldn't have got me. I would have been out the house. When they brought the guy in, I don't know, he's a great character actor.
The big guy, the big bald
guy.
guy.
Oh, yes.
I want to
Yes.
say, I think he was in, he's kind of who they tease as the Zodiac Killer.
Yes,
He's
yes,
a
he is out
Zodiac
here.
Right?
Yes, yes.
When he comes in and like right off the bat, like he does such, just talk about acting. Just his demeanor
He's
on
like so
screen.
grounded in a way.
But immediately I'm like, I see him come on camera and I'm like, there's really something off of
Yeah,
that
this
guy.
guy's up to something.
And I've seen him in other stuff. I know he's not off per se, but like something's. If I was at this dinner party, I'd be like,
He's such a, his name escapes me right now, but what a
I'm terrible with
fantastic
names.
character actor that has been in a billion
He's been in a
things.
billion
And I always
things.
want to kind of,
Eddie will throw his picture up.
Yeah.
before we
Yeah.
go back
I always
to
want to
Eddie.
secretly interview folks like that and be like, how do you do what you do? Like, because even as an actor, sometimes you see performances and you're like, well, that's magic. Like, I'm not sure how you're doing.
That's what I mean. I see performances like his, and I'm like, dude, you don't even need to, like, maybe you'll be a leading man one day. But it doesn't even matter because like you're one of those people that like, man, when you're on camera, like you take the attention.
Yeah, totally.
And you can just do it with, like you said, your demeanor. Because just the way it's like, oh man, he's just like kind of really off. Like you get it right away when he comes on. And then he starts like kind of talking, and I'm like, yeah, this is really weird. Like I wouldn't tell. Like I forget what story he breaks into, but I'm like, man, I'd be really embarrassed to tell that to a bunch of people I never heard.
Oh, that's right. He talks
about
about killing his wife.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
And I'm like, what?
And I feel like that's the first turn in the film where you're like, what? Everything before that you can kind of chalk up to, all right, they're all processing this grief and they found this new community. And then he tells that story and they try to show the video and you start to be like, what's happening?
But this is bringing me back to this thing we said a few minutes ago, like villains never think they're villains.
No.
And really trying to craft a three-dimensional character. And we worked a lot together on
it shows
the role that I played.
In the film too.
And I love that you said you saw that shift because we wanted there to be that shift. And we would constantly go back and forth. And as an actor, I'm always asking Maren as a director for verbs. Like, what am I doing? Am I seducing? Am I scaring? Am I this? Am I that? And I think the thing that we landed on that really worked well for me is... and now you'll have to go back and watch it a third time after I say this. In literally every scene I'm in, I'm trying to control the situation. I'm not trying to be evil. I'm not trying to be scary. I'm literally I'm trying to control the conversation. I'm trying to control the mood. I'm trying to control the feeling. And just that little thing does something on camera, right? I'm always looking for the verb or the game. And I think that was one that really worked for us.
Yeah.
I think my favorite... Because it is like a class to me. It is like a classic like bad guy move. Like and I say it with like as I loved it. I think one of my favorite parts, and you're like, I can yell too.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, that's such a villain move. I mean, like, it was cool. It was really cool. It fit. You know what I mean? It's like it's really cool.
But what a great example of referencing what I just said. It's like it's this. Ultimate moment, right, where she's screaming for help.
Yeah.
And how do you control that? And you say, the windows are soundproof, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how loud I'm going to scream too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
immediately you take that power.
And again, yeah, you're right. You immediately hijack and take, and it's like
without
we're right back,
without touching them.
We're right back to where I can manage. Yeah. Not you.
Yeah.
It was very good. It was very good. Like I said, it was great. Like, I mean, what's next for Clifton Park? Like, when will there be a chance for like people to actually see it?
Yeah. So we'll have the world premiere at Screamfest, which will be our first public screening. And then from there, we're hoping to have a few more screenings in the fall. But then we're also working towards the online release so that we can really get this out to the masses and start to find our audience who hasn't had the pleasure of finding us yet because we are new to the genre. So the online release will be really exciting. And then we are on the third draft of a feature version of the film called The Ambassadors.
Which is the name of the theater company.
Yeah. And it's just a stretched out, dipped in acid, lit on fire version of the short.
If you can imagine it, it's a crazier version. There are more members of the theater company. You get a little history on how Mari came to the group. And I would say most excitingly, you get to see how she reacts. To everything.
Why I so am rooting to see that. Like I said, this is a great. It was so cool to meet with you both and talk about it, and then to see it.
Yeah.
And now seeing it more than once. Like it's a great piece. It's a great piece of work. It was done so well. You know what I mean? So I hope it. Rooting for this. I hope people get such a chance to see it. And again, I hope people who've watched Lavelle or know cults and stuff. I think this is really going to be you can tell you both did your research, which is super cool because everything is there. All the vibes are there. The whole I can't say enough good things about it because, like I told you before, cults are very scary these days
and more common than you think.
They're way more common, and this is something we talked about before. They're way more common than you think, but things that aren't cults to what we, obviously when you hear cults, you're like, oh, the Manson family.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Oh, now, Nexium. When you think of the common, like, you know, you think of the common
The
stuff.
spectacle ones.
The spectacle, exactly. Waco. You think of like the real spectacle
Right.
cults. A lot of like, not to get on like a political soapbox, but like a lot of things that we deem today is like, what? Everything's so tribal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pulling a lot of. It may not be a full blown cult,
Yes.
but it's taken a lot from like the cult playbook
Yeah.
in getting people to go along, comply, and it's not like like I think a lot of different people are doing this, and again, it's because like you could use politics as a really great example. Like I vote this way because this side's evil.
Yeah.
I vote this way because this side's evil. Both sides think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I think they really do. I honestly I think there's cults only work because there's like a little nuggets of truth in. That's how to get you in.
Mhm.
Right.
There is some things they are. It's like man, well that is true, or that is a good idea, or what's wrong with that?
Right.
There's like a little sprinkles of it, but I think a lot of things out there are pulling from the cult playbook and using that.
Because on either side, they want to stay in power.
Exactly.
Ultimately, power and subsequently money is the number one for anyone who's near that echelon of decision making.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a politician that represents us in this country who isn't trying to secure another 6 years, secure another
Yeah.
4 years,
Yes.
secure another job.
There are
Yes.
some who are worse than others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And I do think the danger. There's so much danger in our politics right now.
Yeah.
One thing that I might pull out is when you can't disobey the leader, when you can't be skeptical, or when you can't criticize. That's
Yeah.
I feel like
That's
when
a
it
tactic
really,
of controlling the narrative.
Yeah, and we do see that.
Hey, horror fans. Help support the Marvel of Horror podcast by going to our merch shop and getting one of our exclusive items.
This is a bit of a non sequitur, but can I ask you a question? I know you're supposed
Absolutely.
to ask questions.
Ask away,
Can I ask you a
please.
question that you don't have to answer because it's personal? But you mentioned your mom passing, and I'm curious that happening as you are a new father, and I'm just curious about the connection between those things because I know when my father passed away in 2018, and we have this rolling 3 years that we're like, yeah, we're gonna have kids in 3 years, but I'd say my father passing away really affected my desire to be a father. It,
No,
it
absolutely.
like went from 0 to 100 for
Yes.
some reason,
Yes.
and that was an unexpected thing about my father passing away. I
I
was curious like how they affected each other. Those events.
Oh no! Like, I got no problem answering the question. So I lost my father. So I lost my mom 3 years ago, August 17th, right? And Leela was pregnant with Victor, right? So it was like, man, it was hard. It was really hard. And I lost my dad like 8 years before that, and I was close to. I love both my parents, but me and my mom butted heads a lot, and my mom lived here, and my mom was kind of. My mom had congestive heart failure, so it was and like the doctor gave her. I think the doctor gave her like 5 years, but she ended up making it like 8. You know what I mean? So, and there was one point where she was doing like really well. And it just started like tanking, but so it wasn't like we were kind of expecting it because you can't ever really prepare for it.
Right,
But we
right.
knew she had these problems,
Right.
and we knew the day was going to come or whatnot. But my dad was a total shock, and I feel guilty like all the time because now that I am a dad and I'm a dad of a boy, like. There's nothing worse than like wanting to ask your dad like a question and you can't. But me and him are really close, and it was like his death was really sudden, and I was kind of for the longest time I was kind of like I think I really wanted kids, but like my temper was never the greatest. So I think like Victor came at the right time where here we're ready.
Yeah.
It's a shame because like I'm 44, or like if I knew if I knew then what I know now, I would have had more kids. I really would have. Like it's it's something. It's not for everybody, but like again, it's like man, I wish but I wish I would have had more. But it's okay. It's all right. I got one, and he's beautiful, and he's the
And
greatest.
you got time. I'm 42 and we're still a few years out, so I'm going to be coming to you in
Oh,
my
yeah.
50s and be like,
Oh,
man,
man.
I wish I
You
would have
fit
done this
at
when I was
45.
44.
Dude, Matt,
Uh,
come to me, man. I'll give you, dude. Like, listen. Being a dad's hard, but I love it. I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. And like I said, kids aren't for everybody. Some
Yeah.
people are like, nah, I'm cool, and it's like, all right, that's fine. One life's not better than the other. But it really is true that like there's just this, I don't know. There's just something about like hearing your kid like, Dad, let's play, and there's just something about this person that's just like just loves you unconditionally, and you know it. Like, you know it, you feel it all the time, and you never have to. You don't question it.
yeah.
It's just something like I don't know. It's hard to anyway.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
No, it's fine. But like going back to keep answering your questions, I wasn't really like. It's definitely tough, and it's definitely hard, and it's like it's not having either one of your parents doing it is just like, man, because again you have these questions, and it's like, they did it.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you do?
Mm-hmm,
It's like it really gives you that sense of like, man, I really gotta fucking figure this thing out on my own. I mean, not on your own.
Sure,
Obviously,
but
you got
yeah.
your partner and stuff like that. But it's like you don't have the people who raised you. Like,
Right.
Like you really just gotta. You really gotta go here. Or sometimes, and like I said, it's tough. And like when my mom passed away, it was a different process. Like, obviously, I haven't processed either one of them.
Yeah.
Well, it's
You
a
never really
forever
do.
grieving process.
It's a forever grieving thing, but it's like when my unhealthily, if that's even a word, when my mom passed away, I just went into full like, okay, I can't deal with this. I got a pregnant wife,
Yeah.
so I gotta focus on that. I don't have time to stop. Like, I got a baby coming in a couple of months.
Yeah.
So it was like my brain kind of saying, yeah, man, you can get out of this. But
You can get out of processing.
you can get out of processing
Yeah.
it. This is a good reason why.
Yeah.
Right,
It's not a lie.
It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable to process it.
Well, it's basically saying, well, it's not that it's uncomfortable. It's just you ain't got time.
Right,
You gotta
right.
go
This is
man. You
more
can't deal
than-
with this right now.
It's a little-
You got to go right into this, man. What are you
Yeah.
doing? So like that's kind of what I did mentally, but the check always comes due.
Yeah.
So like years later, it was like not years later, but like months later, it was just like you just grab a pillow and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
dude, you screaming because you're a new dad? No, that's next.
That's the next thing. This
That's
screen.
the next thing.
was
That's the
about
next.
mom.
That's the next breakdown. Because that was crazy too. Like when Victor, we'll get back into horror in a second. When Victor was born, he was like a month early, right? Preemie, and so I wasn't even ready to like hold a baby yet, let alone. All right, here's your baby.
Yeah.
Shot all the tubes and stuff. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I jumped right in. I was ready. I was like, nah, man, just don't wait your feet, get in. I was like, nah, give me the. He's got to poop. All right, I got it. I changed his first poop diaper with all these cords and stuff. I was like, nope.
Good job, Dad.
Oh man, I was ready. It's like you got to go hard. You got to go all the way.
Yeah.
So, one of my, I think one of my proudest moments in my life almost was, and then again, this is still like COVID time.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, we're only going to let one person up. You can't have your whole family in the room.
Mhm.
One person can come up. You got to wear a mask. So my older brother, who at this point in his life had like a 16, 17-year-old daughter, he'd done it already. He comes up and here's Victor, like 4 point something pounds,
Wow.
tiny guy, all the cores, like the binkies, like the size of his face. You know, he's so tiny, got a whole pet hair already. And I'm like, yeah, you know, we're looking at this baby, and then we're walking down the hall, and he's like, and I hadn't slept in like a whole day, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, you okay? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, do you need like a room to go screaming? I mean, do you need to baby with these cords? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's a baby.
Yeah.
Like, he's a baby. But yeah, I was like, no, I'm not okay. But he's, you know, I got to do what I got to do. But he's just like, yeah, you seem like you're doing really well. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, doing great.
Well, this is reminding me of our niece who is 6 right now, and so we say she has big emotions. She's not always able to deal with those big emotions.
Oh yeah.
And we often refer to like kids like that, but I kind of feel like as humans, like we have big emotions, and we don't always know what to do with them, especially birth, death, these really big things. And it makes me feel very, very lucky to be an artist, and specifically a writer, a co-writer, because at least that's how I deal with stuff like this. I mean,
Yeah.
Maren and I, we probably said this last time we were here, but we were friends for 6 years before we got together. We were in a theater company, dating other people, and how we reconnected after the theater company ended is I was writing a television pilot called Little Dick about this child actor whose father dies, and he has to go move back home to take over a private investigation agency. And it was my way of dealing with the passing of my father, because it was too overwhelming to think of me doing it, but I had to like be like, no, how would this fictional person deal with this same exact thing? And I would say the writing of Clifton Park was very personal for us, dealing with some mutual and individual issues. And I would say the Ambassadors, the feature-length screenplay of this, is just allowing us communally and individually to really deal with work through some other things, right, in the writing.
Yeah, work through some of the most like embarrassing or horrifying moments we've had in our lives and careers, and putting our characters in those situations, then turning up the volume to 10.
Yeah, because I don't know that we're supposed to know how to deal with those things.
No.
Like as humans. I think that is maybe the purpose of art, or one of the purposes is, as we always say, you know, we're at these film festivals, and the last question always is, what do you want people to take away from this film? And our answer is always the same, no matter what the film is, no matter what the genre is, and it's, we want people to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do or think or feel, there's at least one other person on the earth who's thinking and feeling that.
Maren, thank you so much for coming again today.
Bruce, thank you for having us.
Oh my God! Well, I hope you're coming back.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
come back
Absolutely.
again. And I think
We'll be repeat
Offenders.
Well, I want to say maybe besides one other person, I think you're
the only other two
the only
people.
other two to come back to do a second episode. And
Well, now we gotta come back to beat that person.
Yeah, there you
we
go.
gotta get 3.
So now you gotta go for that. My fingers won't work. You gotta go for that 3P.
3P.
Matt and Maren, thank you so much again. Clifton Park, man. Trailer on YouTube. Check it out. Good luck at Screenfest.
Thanks, Bruce.
It's gonna be fucking awesome. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Though we pride ourselves on the rigor with which we approach all of our productions, this is going to be a brand new process for us. We're going to be staying in character all weekend to build our new show. So as soon as you enter this dining room at 6 p.m., that's when our radically intimate human experiment will begin. Are you ready?